Chapter 620, 1 hour. Liang Yu's concerns were not unfounded. This time, Zhang Yi went to Blizzard City with only her and Hua Hua, but refused to take Uncle Yu and the others with him. Shou Kuo and Lu Karen were easy to explain, as they were after all, auxiliary aliens. But what about Uncle Yu and Su Chunlei? They are both combat-oriented aliens. Zhang Yi did not bring them along for one reason only: their combat power is no longer enough in the battles Zhang Yi is participating in nowadays. This inevitably caused some concerns in Liang Yu's heart, who is also a member of the team. After listening to Liang Yu's question, Zhang Yi gave a playful smile at the corner of his mouth. Instead of directly answering Liang Yu's question, he asked in return, "Teacher Liang, do you think I am the kind of person who craves to establish a powerful force and constantly develop his team?" Liang Yu blinked. "Isn't that the case?" Zhang Yi answered decisively, "Of course not. Indeed, from the end of the world until now, it seems that the size of our team has grown. But I have never intended to create a large force and then dominate the world in the end of the world." He glanced at Liang Yu. "Otherwise, I can integrate all the forces of Tianhai at any time. Do you see me doing that?" Liang Yu looked thoughtful. "You really haven't done that." Even after taking the people from the 3 major bases as subordinates, Zhang Yi had no intention of managing them. This really wasn't something an ambitious person would do. Zhang Yi said indifferently, "At the beginning of the end of the world, I kept gathering talent because I didn't have the ability to protect myself. Everyone huddled together to keep warm, and we could all survive well. At that time, my criteria for selecting team members was indeed very utilitarian. But now, those most difficult times are behind us. And you and I are no longer just using each other." Zhang Yi looked at Liang Yu, and his gaze became tender. "We are family now. How could a family ever dislike someone for being less useful? Even if you can't do anything, as long as you can be with me, that's enough." Zhang Yi's eyes were full of sincerity, and this put Liang Yu's mind at ease. She nodded. "That's good. In fact, I've long since considered everyone to be my family. I hope we can all survive the end times." Zhang Yi nodded with a smile. "That's right. So in the future, don't ever think like that again. How can family members doubt each other?" Liang Yu lowered her head a little embarrassed. "I was thinking too much. Sorry." Zhang Yi thought to himself, "I'm not really a monster." Essentially, Zhang Yi considers himself to be just an ordinary person. He is not particularly kind, nor is he particularly evil. All he wants is to survive the end of the world peacefully. It would be even better if he had a group of warm-hearted friends to rely on. People always need a little spiritual comfort. Therefore, even if Uncle Yu and the others cannot help Zhang Yi in the future, Zhang Yi's attitude towards them will not change. Having a group of people you can trust to keep you company is already precious in the end times. Zhang Yi and Liang Yu arrived at Xiaomaishan metro station. He put away the snowmobile and went to the platform to wait for his special train to arrive. The patent arrived on time as agreed. As usual, the robot stewardess smiled and invited them to take their seats. Zhang Yi and Liang Yu entered the special train, while Hua Hua, as usual, squatted on Zhang Yi's shoulder. This time, since there was no need to pick up people in other cities along the way, it only took less than 2 hours to arrive in Blizzard City. Zhang Yi and Liang Yu got off the train. The platform was quiet, with only a few soldiers standing guard with guns. However, Zhang Yi saw several old friends. The current leader of the Black Robe investigation team, Bailey Changqing, and old acquaintances Wu Di and Meng Xiu. All 3 were dressed in black combat uniforms. Upon seeing Zhang Yi, Bailey Changqing and Meng Xiu both wore smiles on their faces. Although Wu Di still looked arrogant, the look in his eyes when he saw Zhang Yi still revealed a hint of awe. After all, the last time, Zhang Yi had suppressed his strength and defeated him head-on. "Ha ha! Zhang Yi, welcome to Blizzard City. You've come at the perfect time." Bailey Changqing laughed heartily as he walked over and gave Zhang Yi a bear hug. Zhang Yi asked in some surprise, "Why have you come over?" The captain of one of the 6 investigation teams had actually come to greet him in person, which made Zhang Yi feel somewhat strange. Since when had his face become so big? Bai Li Changqing let go of Zhang Yi and said with a smile, Zhu Shuai asked me to come and pick you up. To be honest, I was a bit surprised that you agreed to join this operation. Zhang Yi understood. It must be the fact that he had destroyed the Ozone City Alien Alliance that had attracted Zhu Zheng's attention. After hearing Bai Li Changqing's words, Zhang Yi just smiled blandly. Do you think I would have the possibility of refusing? The smile on Bai Li Changqing's lips grew even stronger. That's different. Zhu Shuai said that you were very cooperative this time and immediately agreed to come. Zhang Yi took a deep breath. This is not a strange thing, is it? Even I, when faced with an invasion by foreign enemies, cannot possibly protect myself alone, can I? Zhang Yi is not stupid. Bai Li Changqing nodded approvingly, then sighed. You're right, this trouble is indeed more serious than we thought. Mentioning this, Zhang Yi's face also became serious. What the hell is going on? Is Eclipse Group that strong? How could they have wiped out 10 alien troops? Bai Li Changqing said in a deep voice, it's much more serious than you think. Not to mention you, even Zhu Shuai was shocked when he heard what happened. There is something strange about Eclipse's power. Do you know how long they took to solve those 10 alien troops? Zhang Yi looked at him intently. How long? 1 hour. Bai Li Changqing said each word carefully. What? Zhang Yi was shocked. An hour? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Even if Bian Zhenhua led all the members of the Black Robe Squad in full bloom, it would be impossible. Because there are too many uncertainties in war. Without knowing the enemy, you need to test carefully and reasonably allocate your forces for battle. If this battle is between the Black Robe Squad and 10 teams of foreigners, Zhang Yi guessed that it would take at least 10 days and a half. This was true even if Bian Zhenhua used the silent annihilation. Because once your superpower is revealed, others will also take corresponding measures to deal with it. Even if you lose, they won't let you kill everyone like a pig, will they? Bai Li Changqing said, let's talk as we go. Let's go to the bar and have a good chat. Zhang Yi raised an eyebrow and asked curiously, shouldn't I just go and see Zhu Shuai? He must have come here with a task. Zhu Jing asked Bai Li Changqing to pick him up, but Bai Li Changqing took him out drinking. Chapter 621, Suspicion. Bai Li Changqing laughed and said, don't worry. This time, Zhu Shuai is really angry. He has gathered many experts from the entire Jiangnan region, and you are not the only one. And this mobilization also requires a meeting with other senior executives in the region to discuss it together. As for the specific situation, I don't know much about it either. Bai Li Changqing spread his hands. You should understand, I'm just a combatant. Zhang Yi's eyes flashed with a strange expression. Just a combatant? I'm afraid things aren't that simple. To put it bluntly, Bai Li Changqing's strength is still quite a distance away from the level of Bian Zhenhua and Deng Shintong. Although he was barely promoted to become the captain of the Black Robe Squad, others may not recognize his status. Zhang Yi didn't say anything, just nodded. Let's go then. Bai Li Changqing and Zhang Yi walked in front, while the others followed behind. After leaving the subway station, they got into Bai Li Changqing's car and arrived at the password bar in no time. Bai Li Changqing had his own private room here. This was not Zhang Yi's first time here. After entering the room, he sat on the orange sofa in the middle, crossed his legs, and made himself at home. Liang Yu and Wang Ming looked around curiously, and Liang Yu sat down not far from Zhang Yi. Bai Li Changqing called the waiter and ordered 2 bottles of whiskey for himself. Wu Di and Meng Xiu also ordered their drinks. Zhang Yi, Miss Liang Yu, what would you like to drink? Zhang Yi reached out and stroked the soft fur of the flower. I'll have 2 glasses of milk. Bai Li Changqing. Wu Di couldn't help but complain, you came to the bar to drink milk? Zhang Yi looked up at him. Zhu Shuai may summon me at any time. Do you want me to go to see him with a drunken smell? Bai Li Changqing laughed. That's true. But you may not know, Zhu Shuai also often drinks a little. After all, it's too cold, and Baijiu has also become an important drink for people. Liang Yu said indifferently, "I'll have an oolong tea." Bai Li Changqing told the waiter to serve the drinks. After the waiter closed the door, Bai Li Changqing suppressed the smile on his face and sat up straight to chat with him about Linhai City. The situation in Linhai City is very complicated. If it weren't, Zhu Shuai and the other high-level officials wouldn't be so cautious about transferring troops. Regarding the Eclipse Moon Group, we have actually collected some information through our own intelligence channels. They are very strong, each of them is a Delta-class outsider. Back in Neon, they were all over the Kanto region, and even the highest local authority in Kanto didn't have a good way to deal with them. But even so, it is absolutely impossible for them to so easily eliminate 10 teams of outsiders without any preparation. Zhang Yi frowned, and his back felt a little cold. Are you saying that there is a spy in Blizzard City? Someone who has leaked all our movements to them? Bai Li Changqing also frowned and said slowly, "This possibility is not non-existent, but it is unlikely." After the end of the world, in order to prevent someone from attacking Blizzard City through information channels, the headquarters adopted the most advanced information defense methods. The Operations Center is one of the most important departments in Blizzard City, and its security level is S level. No one can leak information from there without being noticed. Zhang Yi took a deep breath and said with a grave tone, "But if they didn't have complete control of the intelligence of the 10 alien troops, they definitely couldn't have eliminated them so easily. This is also where we are confused." Bai Li Changqing hugged his arms and said in a deep voice, "Don't forget, this is an era full of mutant creatures. None of us know what kind of abilities the aliens on the other side have. Perhaps, this is the ability possessed by one of the aliens on the other team." Zhang Yi's breathing became a little heavy. "You mean, the ability to predict the future? If they really had this ability, then what would they fight with in this battle? No matter what you do, they can predict the trajectory of all your actions. It's like playing rock paper scissors, but you have to go first." Bai Li Changqing touched his head. "Right now it's just a guess, we don't have conclusive evidence to prove it. But I don't think it's that exaggerated. If they really had that kind of ability, they could take over the entire Neon and all the foreigner organizations. Why would they come across the sea?" Zhang Yi laughed with his arms folded. "To be honest, it's just that the intelligence gathering is not sufficient." Bai Li Changqing, however, said, "That's not the case. We have already paid a heavy price to obtain their information." The smile on Zhang Yi's lips slowly faded, and it was replaced with contempt. "By those costs, you mean the first 10 groups of foreigners who applied to go to Linhai City, right?" Bai Li Changqing seemed to have just remembered that Zhang Yi was also the leader of the foreign forces in the outer city. Perhaps it was because Zhang Yi's strength was too strong that Bai Li Changqing always looked at him separately from the other foreigners in the outer city. "This is also something that can't be helped," Bai Li Changqing smiled bitterly. Zhang Yi shrugged, "It doesn't matter, it doesn't really have much to do with me anyway. To be honest, I have to thank you for reminding me in the first place." Zhang Yi didn't have any objections to what Zhu Zheng and the other senior Blizzard City officials were doing. This was war, and if the person playing chess wanted to seize control, they couldn't possibly keep every piece, some pieces would have to be sacrificed. As long as it wasn't him, Zhang Yi, it didn't matter. Zhang Yi's heart grew even more vigilant. Although he came with the intention of expelling the foreign enemy, he absolutely would not agree to be cannon fodder. Suddenly, an idea came to Zhang Yi's mind. "Bai Li, do you think there is an epsilon-level existence among their people?" Bai Li Changqing was silent for a moment, and even Wu Di and the others could not help but turn their heads. Epsilon. These 4 words have a very great magical power. During the battle in Tianhai City, they had already seen how terrifying that existence was. If Eclipse really had such an existence, then it would be much more reasonable to instantly kill 10 teams of aliens. But Bai Li Changqing decisively denied this. "No. There was a video transmission from the battlefield at the time, and we clearly saw those Ronin strike. Although their strength was not bad, they definitely did not reach the level of Epsilon." Zhang Yi nodded. "If that's the case, there's still a chance. Those were Ronin, not young girls like Harukahara with little combat experience. If Epsilon really existed, even if Zhang Yi went over there, the possibility of dying in battle was not non-existent.